What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepiece with Tony. I'm Tony. Today we are going to be doing a review of the Cartier Cartier Santos de Cartier large model with a brown sunray dial. So I'll be talking about the specs and all that stuff, but also be talking about maybe some of the things I don't like about the watch. So let's roll the intro and we'll get into it. Talking timepieces with Tony. Talking timepieces with Tony. All right, so as of right now, I have it on the brown alligator strap. I've been wearing it on the bracelet quite a bit. I do prefer this on the bracelet, I think, as opposed to the Pasha. I prefer it on the alligator strap as opposed to the bracelet. So let's just get into this a little bit as far as what this watch actually is. All right. So the Santos de Cartier large model mechanical movement. This has the 1847 MC movement, which is used in a lot of their automatic watches. It's a robust, reliable movement. It has seven-sided crown set with a faceted synthetic blue spinel, satin finish graduated brown sunray dial, and it's brushed. Rhodium finished polished steel sword hands with luminescence in it, so it does have lume. I had a viewer that asked me about the lume, if it had lume, and I said no. That's before I actually looked at the watch in depth. I'm just so used to Cartier's not having lume on these watches, but this one, it does. Sapphire crystal. It has the smart link adjustment system, so it's really super easy to change straps. Again, they have the case width on this is 39.8 millimeters, and it's 9.38 millimeters thick. And the cool thing about it is water resistant to 100 meters. So that's pretty cool. Cartier the Santos is known as being the first ever men's wristwatch. It's a pilot watch, sport watch, because Alberto Santos Dumont wanted a watch. This is back in the pocket watch days. Man, I need to learn to freaking speak, dude. And he contacted Cartier, and he was a friend of Louis Cartier. Is that it, Louis? Oh my God. And he made him a watch for his wrist. So when he was piloting whatever he was piloting, he could look at his wrist as opposed to pull out his pocket watch. Oh, I say, what time is it? Oh, time to die. You know. So the cool thing is if you look at this case, look at the curvature of this case. I mean, it fits beautifully around the wrist or on the wrist. Let me put it on the wrist real quick, and I'm going to take it right back off. But see how it kind of hugs the wrist there? The dial, being sort of a sunray dial, it kind of almost goes from a coppery gold to a brown, and it depends on the light. You've got a super high polished bezel, which is a scratch magnet, we all know. But on top of that, it has brushed elements to the case as well. So you have a brushed case, but you have high polished beveling along the sides of the case. And the polishing that Cartier do is amazing. It's beautiful. We have a solid, case back. Got that spinel. So it's a great watch. I'd put it on the strap and show you how easy it is to change it, but the bracelet. But all you have to do is press this button here. You got a button, and it just pops right off. The same with the bracelet, and it snaps right back in. So you have the date aperture at the 6 o'clock as well. Some people don't like that, but some people don't like anything. So it doesn't, bother me. I'd love it if they color matched it, but they don't. It's black. I love the integrated strap, the way they do this. It just looks so cool. The couple things I don't like is the power reserve. The MC 1847 MC only has about a 42-hour power reserve at best. So, you got to kind of wind it every day if you're not wearing it. I've been wearing this a lot to bond with it. Another thing I don't like is the alligator strap. It's not that I don't like the strap. I love the strap, but it looks stamped as opposed to being real alligator, but it is real alligator. Same goes with the Pasha. It's that same sort of stamped look as opposed to, you know, but it's, they're using the cheap end of the alligator, the one that shops at Walmart. I'm just kidding for anyone who shops at Walmart. Um, and But still very beautiful. And it's a gorgeous watch. Put it back on the wrist. Of course, you have the deployant buckle, and it's classy. And someone asked me why I got the large as opposed to the medium, as well as why I chose the brown dial over the blue or the green. And one of the reasons being that well, first and foremost, I chose the large because I bought previously, I had the medium Santos, not any color, just their opaline silver white dial. And it just was a little bit too small. So then I bought the large, and I love the large. And that's why. So when I went in to try this on, I did try the medium. They did have the medium as well, and I just thought the large was maybe a little too large. I mean, it's just under 40 millimeters, but it wears a little bit bigger because of it being that square shaped case. But and I'm on a 6.5 inch wrist. Okay, so it does feel or look a little bigger, and it is a little bit more in your face kind of. But it's a beautiful watch, and I am glad that I got the large, not the medium. One of the other questions was, why didn't I go for the blue or the green? When the blue, well, first and foremost, I'm not going to go for the blue when I have the Pasha in blue. And then the secondary on the green is beautiful, but it's so dark that it almost looks black in some lights. But green's one of my favorite colors. Plus, I already have green dial watches. I don't have a brown dial watch, not like this. And another thing I like about the brown dial is it gives it kind of almost a vintage sort of flair to it. Brown sort of dial watches, I think, were somewhat popular back in the 60s, maybe 70s. But so it kind of gives it that vintage look, but it's not. As far as the legibility on this, I think is far more legible than the blue dial Santos and the green dial Santos. I don't know why, but it is. So, as far as anti-reflective coating, it definitely doesn't glare as much as the Pasha. The Pasha is just this thing would be great if it had anti-reflective coating, at least on the underside of the crystal, So, but other than that, I do love the watch. Now, I also had an issue when I first bought it, and I wouldn't say it was an issue, but when this first came out, just a couple of months ago, with Watches and Wonders, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, that is one that I want. The chronograph, was it the chronograph? Anyway, the one that I wanted, turns out it had a Salida movement in it, and I was just like, nope, not going to happen. So, one thing with me is like, and it doesn't just go with watches. Sometimes if I really love something right away, I end up not liking it pretty soon thereafter. Or it's just like, oh, it was kind of like a real passing fad. And then certain things that I don't like, and then I sort of gradually start to like them. And then I like them. Then I get something, and then I end up loving it. And that was the thing with the Pasha. I had no interest in buying a Pasha before. And for some reason, it kept growing on me and growing on me. It took years, but it kept growing on me and growing on me and growing on me. And then I was like, you know what? And then I bought it, and I love this watch. So the Santos is one of those watches that I've always loved, the Santos. And so, yeah, I think it's a beautiful watch. It's classic. It's got a lot of heritage, a lot of history. It's iconic, But when I first got it, it was kind of like the next morning I woke up and I was like, oh my God, why did I buy that? I don't, I really, and that's really rare for me that happens like that, but it did. And I was kind of like going, no, 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 dude, you got to bond with it. You got to figure out to make a way that you're going to love it. And of course, I just wore it constantly every day. I mean, I've had this for just over a week now, and I've worn it, every single day. And now I'm starting to really love it. But I was having a moment where I wasn't, and I was like, that's a pretty big, purchase at $7,700 to buy something that all of a sudden don't realize you might like, and you can't really return it. So you could sell it and take about a $5,000 loss on it, or a $4,000 loss, whatever. But that being said, it looks really good on the alligator strap, and it looks really good on the bracelet as well. Like with the 100 meters water resistance, really adds that sport element to it now. So now you're, essentially, if you are at the pool, say you go somewhere, whatever, and this is the only watch you have on, then don't have to worry about going swimming. The only thing is I wouldn't go swimming in the alligator strap. It'll ruin it. So make sure you're wearing the bracelet when you decide to go swimming. But that being said, you got, let's see, crown guards, just usual stuff. Just be careful when, if you really worry about scratching your watches. That's one of the reasons why I sold my previously one. I never wore it because I didn't want to scratch it, didn't want to scratch it, didn't want to scratch it. Now I'm just kind of like, whatever. If it happens, it happens, and it's gonna happen. So, yeah. And another thing is that on this, as opposed to the colored dials, as opposed to the opaline, more classic dial, this doesn't have this sort of secret signature on the dial by the 7 o'clock position. Who cares? So that's it. I love the watch. I appreciate everyone who likes, subscribes to my channel. You guys are awesome as always, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.